IcePlex and Ice Sports Association. For those of you here today whom I have not yet had the privilege of meeting, my name is Corey Whiting and I'm the current chair of the Volunteer Ambassador Committee at the Chamber, and it is my privilege to start this thing off here today. Please help me in thanking the figure skaters for the wonderful entertainment that we witnessed. Thank you, ladies. We are here to celebrate the openings of this community facility that was made possible because of countless volunteers, many individual donors, the business community, SCHEELS, Sanford Health, and the City of Sioux Falls. With the ribbon cutting ceremony today, we congratulate the Ice Sports Association on the new SCHEELS IcePlex and thank them for their continued support in the Sioux Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. This kind of monumental effort takes exceptional leadership. That leadership was provided by the Ice Sports Association, along with one of the co-founders, a past Chamber Board member, and CEO of Bell Inc., a successful and supportive Sioux Falls business. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Ben Graham. Dennis.
It is wonderful to see such a great crowd gathering here today. Thank you, Sioux Falls Figure Skating Club, for the awesome pre-show entertainment. These young ladies are some of the highest freestyle skaters of the club and a great inspiration for everybody. Thank you. I also just learned that the participation numbers in Sioux Falls Figure Skating have more than doubled this year with the opening of the SCHEELS IcePlex. Gathered behind me today and in uniform are the skaters that represent the future of ice sports in our community. These boys and girls and young men represent the Sioux Falls Youth Hockey Association, the Sioux Falls Figure Skating Club, and the Sioux Falls Stampede Hockey Club, which has always been the impetus for building the SCHEELS IcePlex. From the beginning, this project has always been about one thing: developing our youth. When Joe ZUEGER, Greg Starnes, and I came together in 2009 to co-organize a new nonprofit called the Ice Sports Association, we knew our goal of a new indoor ice facility for Sioux Falls and for the region would take the cooperation of many people and organizations. You will hear from some of them this afternoon, but I'd personally like to take a minute to introduce a few of the folks that have been instrumental in our success and say some very much needed thank yous. First off, I'd like to thank my partners in crime, ISO co-organizers Joe ZUEGER and Greg Starnes, and our wonderful executive director, Steve Sioux, who didn't communicate about each of them. Next, I'd like to thank everyone in this room that donated money, time, or support. Businesses, individuals, and families. You know who you are, and thank you. We had a very impressive group of volunteers that served on our leadership fundraising cabinet, many of them here today. Please stand and be recognized. Collectively, this group raised more than $7 million for this project. Take no from the answer award goes to Steve Sarbach. Steve was one of the big fundraisers out there, so thank you, Steve. I'd also like to thank our chairs for our leadership cabinet: Mark Graham, Ron Moquist, Tom McDowell, and again, Joe ZUEGER. Thank you. I'd like to thank SCHEELS First, whose support from the beginning was a game changer. Gardner Caselli, VP of Sales, and Chris Craig, our Sioux Falls store managers, are with us here today. Thank you. I'd like to thank Sanford Health, who generously provided this prime piece of land for our facility and the overall sports complex. Helby Krabnoff, Nate White, Mike Begeman, Bob Winkles, Kevin Lampy, Eric Larson, Bill Marlette, and Kirk Ross. Thank you. I have a few more to go around here. I'd like to thank the City of Sioux Falls, our wonderful Mayor Huther, the Sioux Falls City Council, the Parks and Rec Board, and specifically Don Kearney for their leadership through this process. I would also like to thank the leadership of our youth sports organizations. From Sioux Falls Figure Skating, Debbie Geddes, Patty Brady, and Karen Thornburg. From Sioux Falls Youth Hockey, Vince Jones, Mark Hart, Brian Corey, and Cherry Hunter. I'd also like to thank our USHL team that is making this facility their home practice site. From the Sioux Falls Stampede Hockey Club, Gary Weckler and Coach Carrie East. Thank you. We'd love to thank our rock star staff here at the SCHEELS IcePlex. Brian Prisby, our general manager. Eric Peterson, technical operations manager. Bob Kozlik, management consultant, and Tanya Kozmic, our marketing director. Thank you all for everything you do. I'd also like to thank our major rink sponsors, Bill and Carolyn Hinks, Bill Sexton, and the Sioux Falls Stampede. Thank you to the Sioux Falls Chamber of Commerce, Evan Nolte, and our chair, Dana Dykehouse from First Premier Bank. Dana could not be with us here today, but his strong support, guidance, and expertise has generously been invaluable through this process. So thank you to them. I'd also like to thank our contractors and architects from Gilhouben Construction, Gilhouben Jr., Wes Neighbors, Dominic Gens, and Denny Erickson, and from Danner Architects, Rick Solomon, Dave Lorang, and Tim Fonder. Thank you. And lastly, I'd like to thank Kevin Magnuson, who is here today representing the NHL Players Association, who has been a close confidant and advisor to me through this process. Thank you very much. As we continue to find ways to develop our youth athletics and ice sports, we know that the first step in providing them a facility where they can practice, play, showcase, fail, succeed, and most importantly, grow and develop. No one knows the values of these opportunities than our two celebrity guests today. We are so honored that they have taken the time to be with us and inspire us with their stories of success. Jack O'Callahan played 390 regular season NHL games in the 1980s for the Chicago Blackhawks and New Jersey Devils. Before turning pro, he was a member of the 1980 Winter Olympics United States national team that upset the Soviet Union en route to gold medal in the famous Mirathon. Financial services business on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. He later co-founded Beanpot Financial Services with former NHL great Jack Hughes. Jack currently works on behalf of the Blackhawk Alumni Association. He has been inducted into the International Hockey Hall of Fame in 1999. Please congratulate and welcome Jack O'Callahan.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everybody. Great to be here in Sioux Falls, and I'll tell you, first time for me in South Dakota. I was telling a few guys that my cousin Billy from Boston moved to South Dakota about 30 years ago and was working on one of the Indian reservations in the western part of the state, so I've always wanted to get here, and I couldn't be happier to be here and finally see your wonderful state. This is a tremendous facility. It's amazing to have a facility like this, 3 rinks where you can raise your kids and they can learn how to play hockey and all that, but I think what Ben said, most of all, that means the most to me is about all the community involved in here. And I grew up in a little town in Boston, a little part of the city, and they built a rink there in Charlestown, Mass. And yeah, okay, maybe Sioux Falls, this rink is going to be a crowning achievement for all of you that have pitched in and raised money, and Ben and his group at ISA that put this together and spent the last 5 years building up this dream and this idea. And what it's really doing, it's great for the kids, and it's giving this community, this tremendous community, a chance, an opportunity for the next generations to get involved here and help building this youth and give these kids a chance to learn, to grow, to develop. And it's just going to make, this town, this city, the state of South Dakota, a destination, an even greater place than it is, because now, here's a place that you can all call home, you can raise your kids. And, I couldn't be happier to be part of this. I'll tell you, I brought a little something with me. It's really nice to see a bunch of 17-year-old hockey players looking down at me. I tell you, JR, and had I known it was so cold out here and you're going to talk so long, then I would have brought a stocking cap, I'll tell you that. But it sure is a pleasure also. I just want to congratulate Coach Eads. I've known him for a long time. I mean, again, a wonderful gentleman, a great tradition as a coach, both collegiately and in the junior ranks. But couldn't have a better representative here for the USHL team, and so glad to have a chance to share some time with you today, Coach. So it's a great opportunity for them. I brought a jersey. It's not my real jersey. My real jersey's in a vault, but can you hold it? I just wanted to give me this jersey. It's a replica of 1980 Olympic jerseys. I want to present this to them and everybody, but again, congratulations everybody. I'm very impressed. I can't wait to come back.
Put some skates on, you get around better. Our next guest, Jeremy Roenick, began playing hockey at the age of 4. He played center in the NHL for 20 years, starting out at the Chicago Blackhawks and then playing for Phoenix Coyotes, Philadelphia Flyers, San Jose Sharks, and the LA Kings. After starting out at Thayer Academy in Milton, Massachusetts, went on to play for the Hull Olympiques in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. He was drafted in the first round of the 1988 NHL Draft, 8th overall. During his playing career, he played in 9 NHL All-Star games. In 2007, Roenick became the 3rd American to score 500 NHL goals after Joe Gull and Mike McDonald. Roenick played for the United States at the 1988 and 1989 Junior World Championships, the 1991 Canada Cup, and in the 1998 and 2002 Olympic Winter Games. He retired from the NHL in 2009, was inducted into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame in 2010, and can be seen today doing color commentary for NBC Sports. Please welcome good friend Jeremy Roenick.
Unlike Jack, I was smart enough to bring a jacket, so I do live in San Diego right now, and I do get cold, so I make sure I dress appropriately with a nice coat. But how awesome is this place? Honestly, you guys are some of the luckiest people to get to have an arena such as this being built. My buddy Ben asked me to come up here to help with the ribbon cutting, and I said yes right away for a number of different reasons. Number one, I get really excited when I see new rinks being built and new opportunities being given to the youth today. Because to me, I think the youth need a couple of different things. They need inspiration and opportunity. I don't know about you guys, but my inspiration came from this guy right here in 1980, when I was 10 years old, sitting in my living room with all my gear on, getting ready to go play a hockey game. Even had my skates on with the skate guards, but wouldn't leave until that game was over. And when my buddy Al Michaels asked me if I believed in miracles, I wanted to believe in them, and that's what made me want to become a professional hockey player, even a college hockey player, because of guys like Jack O'Callaghan, who grew up right down the street from me and showed that us kids from Boston or from wherever you're from, inspiration and an opportunity to become great. So thanks to Jackie O'Callaghan for making me one. And then we have the opportunity. What you guys have in this town today now is an opportunity to get your kids out of the house, away from the Xboxes, away from the video games, getting out here and doing things that are active, getting involved in a team sport where they learn sportsmanship, they learn to be competitive, they learn to be a teammate. Because going into the life, this is going to be the start of something great for this community, great for the kids. And that's what I get excited about. When I got traded to Phoenix, we built an arena very similar to this, and we built an area that had 100 hockey players to now where they have over 2,500 kids in the local hockey rinks in Scottsdale, Arizona. Imagine what's going to happen here. And hopefully someday, this arena is going to build kids and build their lives and have them the opportunity to maybe play for a USHL team like the guys we have here today. Maybe play Division I college hockey. Maybe if I stick around in NBC long enough, I can have the opportunity to talk about somebody from Sioux Falls playing in the National Hockey League, and I can just blow them up on NBC and say where they came from and where they started and why they're in the National Hockey League today. To me, that would be a dream come true. Don't you think so? It's big for me, it's big for Ben, I think it's big for everyone. I said to Ben when we were coming down here, I don't think we're going to be able to turn the lights off in this place because I think you guys are going to support it. It's going to be a place to come for a lot of different reasons, whether it's figure skating, whether it's bringing your kids to learn how to skate, or whether you're going to come and watch a great USHL team practice. I congratulate you guys for having a first-class facility, and I thank you for having me here, and Ben, thanks for inviting me. Thanks, Ben.
Leadership is about stepping up. From the very beginning, SCHEELS has stepped up in a major way, boosting our fundraising efforts and offering assistance throughout, including helping and raising even more funds beyond their substantial gift for this project. We couldn't think of a better corporate partner in this project. Please join me in welcoming Garth Caselli, VP of Sales for SCHEELS.
Mayor, distinguished guests, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. On behalf of over 6,000 SCHEELS associates spread across 25 stores in 11 states, we are a privately held company that's owned by our associates, and we've been around since 1902. Not everyone knows that about us, but back in 1978, Steve Scheel, our CEO, moved his young family down to Sioux Falls and brought with him from Fargo, North Dakota, a passion for ice sports. And I can tell you right now that Steve's up in Fargo smiling down knowing what has happened in this city. And with that said, don't intend to spend a whole lot of time up here talking, but I just want to make sure everyone knows how wonderful a community this is and how well you've treated us as an organization. And it's a pleasure to give back in the form of the SCHEELS IcePlex. So thank you very much. I've got a unique opportunity in my role to bring in people from all across the United States. We do a lot of our corporate training right out here at the Ramcota Hotel. And one of my favorite places to bring them the last couple of years has been to bring them out to the Sanford Complex, not just the SCHEELS IcePlex, but to just watch this area grow. And one of the consistent things that I see and hear them say, and again, these are people from all across the United States that are associated with the sporting goods industry, is they are absolutely amazed. And they don't call this something that's a Midwest facility. This is a world-class facility that has been built by the Sanford organization. And with that, I'd like to introduce you from the Sanford organization, Mike Begg. Mike?
Thank you, Garth. Well, I'm Mike Begg. I'm the Executive Chief of Staff and Vice President of Public Affairs for Sanford Health. And I couldn't be more happier than I am today standing in front of all of you. even though I'm an old basketball coach, I emphasize old, this is a really cool place. And I just couldn't help remember sitting over there in the chair by Sioux a few years ago when Kelly and some of the leadership at Sanford Health started talking about the idea of a sports complex. And I know we got a few very strange looks from some of our leadership wondering, well, what's a sports complex going to look like? Well, all of those things came together, and today we stand here and sit here in an ice arena that has 3 sheets of ice that was so sorely needed a long time ago. And thank God we have it here today, and I couldn't be more happy and proud of that. I know all of you are getting a little cold, but Jeremy, this is just a normal day. This is pretty warm in South Dakota. But anyway, on behalf of Kelly Grandma and Nate, who are in a little even more of a cold place today up in Bismarck and Fargo, they would have loved to have been here. But it is truly a pleasure to sit up here and look back at the youth that I see behind me. That's what this is all about. And the efforts of all the folks that Ben mentioned. I look at Joe. Joe, this has been a pull, and I'm really proud, and I know you're very proud today, as well as the other folks on your committee, all the folks, Ben and Greg, all the folks that were up here. Sue, this has got to be a great feeling just looking out over this crowd. And again, I want to thank you, congratulate the committee, and I hope that for years to come, people can come out here and enjoy hockey, tennis, soccer, all the things that we're going to see kids involved in, and to make this place what it is in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the greatest place in the country. So, thank you for that. Lastly, I get the pleasure of introducing the next speaker, and he really needs no introduction. He's one of the people that in Sioux Falls, if you talk about fuel for a project, if you talk about our best cheerleader and our best fan for all that is Sioux Falls, you're talking about our mayor, Mike Huther. And it's my pleasure to introduce him today to come and speak to you and say a few words. So, Mayor Mike.
Well, first of all, not all of the young people that are here today actually truly understand what we were talking about with the Miracle on Ice. So let's give them just a little flavor for what that was like. Some of you that are old enough to remember. Here we go. USA! 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 I had the opportunity to open up one of the largest, most highly anticipated venues in our city's history. It was the Event Center. That was the largest attended ribbon cutting that I've ever been a part of. But folks, I will let you know that this ribbon cutting, and I've been doing these now for 4.5 years, this, next to the Event Center, this is the largest attendance at a ribbon cutting. Ben was going through a variety of different people to thank throughout his script. And I got it. I got it. There are a ton of people that we do have to thank when it comes to this SCHEELS IcePlex. However, I'm going to go back. Folks, you do not truly understand the sacrifice that it takes for people to go out and basically give their time, their talent, and their treasure in the spirit of others. Of others. So much we talk about how everybody's focused on themselves and their own families, their own life's journey. Well, you get folks like the ZUEGERs, the Grahams, the Salters, all these folks that look around, look at all the people that donated money in terms of corporations. Look at all the people in the audience that gave their own money, their own time, their own talent, in the spirit of giving back to this community. You cannot imagine the sacrifice that it takes for these people to do it. I had the opportunity to meet one of the youngest ZUEGERs in the family. And I went up to her, Izzy. And I went up to Izzy. And I said, Izzy, I said, thank you for your sacrifice. And she kind of looked at me funny. And I go, no, thank you. You can't imagine the stress that was been in the ZUEGER family and how they've had to endure this for years. You can't imagine that. Whether it be the ZUEGERs, whether it be the Salters, whether it be the Grants, whether it be all the other leaders that sacrifice to make that happen. Let's take a true opportunity. I want you to stand and I want you to cheer and I want you to thank these stewards that gave their time and their talent to make this happen. As your mayor, you've allowed me, along with the city council, the opportunity to spend a lot of your taxpayer dollars. And we've spent some money over the last 4.5 years. But the city of Sioux Falls, we have the opportunity to donate or to add to this very, very worthy cause $1.5 million towards that effort. I cannot think of money that has been better spent. So on behalf of the 170,000 people, one last thing. We have to have a new cheer of some sort. We'll tie it into the USA. Everybody, let's go. SCHEELS IcePlex. SCHEELS IcePlex. SCHEELS IcePlex. SCHEELS IcePlex. Stand up. SCHEELS IcePlex. SCHEELS IcePlex. SCHEELS IcePlex. SCHEELS IcePlex. SCHEELS IcePlex. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I found your calling in life. You gotta be honest. We're gonna send you to be a yell leader at every one of these high schools for homecoming. That was great. I would like to call Greg Starnes forward, one of my partner in crimes here. Growing up, Greg played hockey in Huron. As we understand, it was quite a force on his high school team. Greg and his wife Jennifer have been tremendous supporters of this project. Impressively continued to champion the cause even after their figure skating daughter left for college and would not even skate in the new rink. From organizing a phonathon to abundant counsel and direction on every legal aspect of this facility, Greg's advocacy has been invaluable. Thank you, Greg.
February 2009, I was out of the arena, standing in line to see the Stanley Cup with my son Doran. And I was standing there minding my own business, and here comes Joe ZUEGER and Easton. They'd already seen him. And Joe spots me in the crowd and points at me and says, I need to talk to you, call me. So he once said that was a classic example of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I called Joe back the next day, and I actually called him from the spur, pacing back and forth on the benches, while my daughters Allie and Noelle were in the figure skating classes. And Joe had been to a meeting, some kind of meeting with the Sioux Falls youth hockey leaders, and they'd been working on their priorities and responsibilities for the year. And they put together a long list of things, and at the bottom of the list was, we need to do something about ice in Sioux Falls. And I don't know what happened at that meeting. Something happened at that meeting. A burning bush appeared, and Joe was handed stone tablets. I don't know. And he was going to do it. He was going to make a miracle appear in Sioux Falls, and we were going to have new ice. But anyway, I don't know why Joe plucked me out of the line. But I was really at the perfect place at the perfect time because, first of all, it gave me an opportunity to be part of this project, and I'm grateful to Joe for that. But more than that, and greater than that, I got a chance to see, had a front row seat at the intellect and leadership that Joe ZUEGER brought to this project. It was amazing. He brought his A game to the project from day one and brought it and brought it and brought it. This guy thought about and cared about every single decision that was made, no matter how large and how small. That's why he's got more gray hair today, but it's why we're here today. Joe, if he didn't have the knowledge or information or expertise to make a decision along the way, he went out and got it. He has consulted with people all over the country about every aspect of this project, or every project, every aspect that he needed assistance with. He's an expert on more things than he ever dreamed he would be an expert on, from professional fundraising to maybe, unfortunately, most recently, these radiant heaters that are up here. That's a little inside. And once Joe made a decision, he owned it. He was the one who put in the sleepless nights. He's the one who took personal responsibility for everything that he did. He's the one who was a true leader of this project. But beyond the leadership and the planning and the decision making, there's the work. Someone has to implement the plan. And at the very beginning of this, Joe made it very clear this is going to be a marathon. That doesn't even come close to describing the work he's put in on this project. For Joe, this was a triathlon after triathlon after triathlon. Joe went out and he swam, and he biked, and he ran, and staggered across the first finish line, and we raised our first $1 million. And then he swam and biked and ran and worked out a deal with Sanford for this fabulous location. Then he swam and biked and ran and brought SCHEELS on board. He organized a chamber appeals campaign and led an unbelievable, successful campaign. He worked out a deal with the city of Sioux Falls on our equipment. He then designed a 3-sheet ice arena with best-in-class ice. He didn't ever compromise those two things, and that was something that nobody said he could get done. And finally, we managed a construction project. And I'm telling you, today we're here celebrating and cutting a ribbon, but I know that Joe's still swimming and biking and running and some things on this project. But that's a short list. That's our show. The list is much longer, and he did all of this in his spare time, and he did it for free, not only for free, but he did it at his own expense. I can promise you that everybody here, anybody who contributed a penny to this project, thanks to Joe ZUEGER and the generosity of his time and his resources and his office and his checkbook, that every single penny of every single contribution made to this project went into this building, and 0% went to any administrative expenses. I've had a lot of time to think about the words to describe Joe's gift of himself to the city of Sioux Falls and to the skating community, and there's no words. There are no words, so I'm going to say the thing that I think might mean the most to Joe. He has kind of a nostalgic and sentimental view of the history of ice in Sioux Falls. And so I'm going to conclude by saying the name Joe ZUEGER belongs with the names Jim Becker, Al English, and John Gross. Thank you, Joe.
Very well said, very well. I don't think there's a person around in this room or who knows that wouldn't agree while this project was a team effort, it would never have become a reality without the work and dedication of the one man. At this time, I would like to invite Kristen and Izzy ZUEGER, as well as Easton, to come out on the ice, please. And forward, please, Greg and I. While they're making their way down, I would like to take a moment to recognize their families. Joe's parents, Arnie and Julie ZUEGER, and his brother Jeff are with us today. Could you please stand and allow yourselves to be recognized, and thank you for your unwavering support. Also, remember our Christian parents, Pete and Mary and Ed. Pete served as a valuable member of our volunteer fundraising cabinet, and together Pete and Marilyn supported this project at every turn. Because of some of the highest individual donors with multiple gifts when we needed them most. Pete and Marilyn, thank you for caring so deeply. There is a quote by Warren Bennis on our dedication sign in the lobby that reads, "Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality." It certainly wasn't easy, and it may not have always been fun, but your vision, leadership, and determination to build the ice sports and to turn it into reality has been unwavering. You have put Sioux Falls and our surrounding area on the map with regards to ice sports. You have forever improved the lives of our youth and their families. You have created a legacy that will serve our community for generations to come. The Board of Directors can think of no better way to honor your extraordinary leadership than by naming our south rink of this facility the ZUEGER Family Leadership Rink.
Am I up? So, Sue, Starnes grew up playing hockey in Huron, and Ben said he understands he was a real force on the hockey team. I grew up playing hockey in Sioux Falls and was a real force on my debate team. So, that's the difference between me and that. But Sue will laugh at this. She knows I've given a few speeches for this thing. And I actually put some notes together for the first time in the history of the project. And because I'm a slow learner, they give these speeches alphabetically, and when you receive what is there to say at the end? I actually got inducted as part of this debate into my high school Hall of Fame a couple years ago, and I had this speech prepared, and by the time I got up, I'm like, it's all been said. There's literally nothing else. So I don't know who wrote the first speech, but it's essentially mine. So I'm going to skip past some of these things. First of all, this was a long list of thank yous, and all these people have been thanked, and I'm going to go quickly. But I want to start with my family. I never asked you guys' permission to do this, so maybe now that it's done, I can get it. But that set the tone for this project about not necessarily asking for permission, but just worrying about forgiveness. So we marched forward oftentimes into areas where people thought we shouldn't, and the result, I think, is self-evident. I also want to add to that the list of my immediate family, my mom, dad, my brother, my in-laws, been an amazing support. But I also want to mention the workplace team. These guys now know what it is like to run a business, sort of, or sail a ship without a captain, because my absence was obvious, and in a great way. I think the business is probably in a better place than it's ever been. So many thanks to them. Some of them are here today, so thanks a lot, guys. You've been absolute rock stars. But Ben and Greg, obviously, with ice sports. Greg, you were wondering why I asked you, and it's going to be summed up in 3 words: free legal work. Invaluable, I feel like this. But I think between Greg and the folks at Woods' work, and Ben and I over at Vodka Trade Lounge, who knew? Sue Salter, who was kind of I never knew at 47 I'd get a new sister in life, but
she's been awesome. The Everest family is a great supporter of this project in Sioux Falls, and Rick Everest told me one time in a group I was in that they like to hire 5 people, pay them like 7, but work them like 10, which is a great philosophy. And if I think about Sue's role in this, we hired one person, we worked her like 3 and paid her a part-time wage. So I think that's kind of a screwed up version of what has made the Everest company successful over the years, but it worked for us. Youth hockey and figure skating, you know, we've been through a lot of folks there. Jason Drake, Vince Jones, Mark Arndt, Brian Corey, and figure skating, Patty Grady, Debbie Geddes, and Karen and that crew. I really want to say thanks to them because it was a leap of faith for them to put this project in our hands. Much as I understand, it was back when the first generation of this thing was done with the Minnehaha Ice and Rec Center between Dr. Tom White and the Gross Becker Mafia that I'm so proud of. And you know, sometimes people who don't know each other very well do need to kind of get arm in arm and put their heads together and trust each other. And you know, we certainly probably wouldn't have gotten even on the path, let alone on a rail to success without the leadership of those groups doing what they did and passing the baton to us. All the fundraisers that Ben mentioned on the leadership in the chamber phase, I did a little bit of research. We had about 150 leadership donors who gave personally to this thing. The 2 Steve Shields, obviously up in Fargo, are here with us in spirit. Sanford for the land, leadership, the support. The city of Sioux Falls, Mayor, Don, his staff, Dean, the council. You know, we had some good days and some bad days, but we had a heck of a lot more good days than bad days with the city, and we're very, very proud of that. The volunteer fundraisers, the business community, I literally feel like I'm wrapped. You look around this place, and if there isn't a visual representation about the community support, it's just amazing, and it's everywhere you go. And it's cool because the first generation of this project was sort of done by some well-meaning people on their own backs, and you know, you look around here, and it's just really inspiring. Gil Haugen and Banner, and your work was fantastic. Denny Erickson, I don't know if Denny's here, but early on in the process, there he is. There's Wes anyway. He's got to be here somewhere. Oh yeah, he said, "I'll be your mad Viking in this thing," and I thought, good. All my life I've wanted a mad Viking, and pretty handy when you can try and get a place like this built in 11 months. So that's the quick summary. I want to write it down so I didn't forget anyone. I probably did, but you know, this is a really cool day. I don't really know how else to put it. You know, the world changed. We'll see when you guys won that game. And to stand up here with a couple of just giants of American hockey is really meaningful. So thanks for coming out and sharing with us. It's very, very cool. So if the world could change with a game like that and a victory like that, the miracle on ice, maybe we'll call this the miracle of ice. But it's not the first chapter. And Greg's right. I'm more than a little nostalgic about this idea of doing a project like this for the right reasons in a very self-sufficient way. And Jim Becker and Norma Gross are here. Jeff Gross is here. I'd like to recognize them. This might be most of us. So the Minnehaha Ice and Rec Center was chapter 1 of really the official first chapter of indoor ice in this community. And my personal inspiration really came from that. You know, I think when you're 13, 14 years old, you see something like that happen. You have to get a little older in life to appreciate what it was really all about. And then you start to hear about people mortgaging their homes at 22% interest. And I've come home a couple times, Norma, and had some conversations with my wife. We haven't had that one, and I'm not quite sure how that must have gone with you and John, or with Al and Allison, but the story still freaks me out. It's just an incredible foundation of inspiration for this. And And so I don't want anyone to think that this was a new idea. That wasn't a new idea. It was updating a very old and very, very inspirational one. So I just want to say thank you to you and your family and Mom Orchestra and all of you that made that happen. It's very nice of people to say we wouldn't be here today without me. It's humbling, but I guarantee you we wouldn't be here today without what you guys did. So thank you. Chris and Eric and the guys were figuring out how to run an ice rink here, and so far the reviews have been fantastic, so we'll just keep getting better at that. The ice is good, yeah. There's a little trick that has to do with the new Zamboni, right? It looked good until the figure skaters got after it. But that's what it's all about, so we don't, yeah, it's been great. And any of you have been to the groundbreaking or any of these other things, and I'm a little bit of a music freak, and I always like to find a lyric that kind of crystallizes what's going on. And there's this band from Atlanta called Blackberry Smoke. They're kind of a country rock band, and there's a song I heard, and it was weird because the moment I heard it, I said, that's what I'm going to tell people when we open the ring. And that was like 6 months ago. But anyway, the hook is, I may not change the world, but I'm going to leave a scar. And when you stand up here with a couple of veteran hockey players, you learn a little bit about leaving a scar. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the scar you've left. Whether we change the world or not, this has just been a fantastic process, a great project, very rewarding for hopefully for my family, certainly for me. And now I'll ask for permission to go ahead and try to build a new 3-sheet ice rink. Can we do it? Awesome. She said yes. So that's really all I have. I know I'm pretty long here. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. It's pretty cool to see them wrapping around the rink and piling in. And I think we're going to sign some autographs and cut a ribbon. And certainly thanks everybody for being part of this deal. It's very, very special.
Excellent. Thank you guys, and congratulations on the honor. It's really extremely amazing. I guess we are now going to cut the ribbon, right? Excellent.
Thank you. Sioux Falls is no longer in the penalty box when it comes to hockey or ice skating in South Dakota. Now, a long time, everybody that's been around hockey knows that this facility, built by the citizens, by private enterprise, and a little bit by the city, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, is well deserved. It's a beautiful place, and it's something that's going to provide an economic benefit to our community for generations to come. So, thank you. I guess probably the biggest question is, Joe, what are you going to do about your free time now? I have a plaque here, and I'm going to present this on behalf of the Sioux Falls Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors to Joe and Greg and the 2,200 members of the Sioux Falls Area Chamber of Commerce, 2,200 plus. We're proud of what you have done here. We're proud that you chose to have us here today, and we share our best wishes for your success and continued growth, the 4th sheet, whatever it takes in the Sioux Falls area. So congratulations and best wishes for the win.